a lot of leaders, but now it's time to rise to the occasion.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mark Dark, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, if you love BMF, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave your theories, comments, everything down below. Now today, we're going to be talking about BMF Season 3, Episode 6. This is the recap. And I'm going to try my best to focus on all the key points in this episode. If I miss anything, you guys let me know down below. And I told you guys last night, Episode 6 to me, it felt like a build-up episode for what's to come for the second half of the season. I mean, after episode 5 with all those bodies dropping off, Meech and Terry had to adjust. They had to figure out another way to end all this drama, all this war, and that's exactly what they tried to do in episode 6. But unfortunately, it was still people out there that still wanted war, that still wanted beef. Even though they could come up with some type of deal to end all of it, Henrietta and Remy, they didn't give a damn. On top of that, we had Detective Bryant. He was on demon time. He wasn't playing around, so of course it made things a tad bit difficult. But we know Meech and Terry, they still were able to make some deals go through in episode 6. I'm eager to see what's going to happen next. And what did y'all think about Angel? I mean, she said, you know what? I can go to Glock and get paid. Once she said that, I was like, yeah, you got to cut her off. Plain and simple, she cannot be trusted. And what about Raw Dog Charles and Dr. Maurice? They went back at it once again in this episode. We know Raw Dog Charles told Dr. Maurice, like, look, Terry ain't your son. I mean, he was pissed off that the doctor delivered that baby right there in his house. Made him feel like the doctor was the man of the house. And I know he was in his feelings. And Markeisha, she's just straight up lame for cutting off Terry's phone and pager. I mean, she know what she was doing. Like, really? You're going to sit up here and try to make this man miss the birth of his child? Like, how petty can you be? And she needs to be watched at all times, especially after pulling that move in episode 6. But Terry will have to deal with that along with dealing with Wanda in this next upcoming episode because we know she pissed off. But let's begin. What did we see in episode 6 titled The Casualties of War? Now, this episode starts out once again with them giving us, like the quote of the episode from your boy Terry, which basically is just telling us everybody can get money. We heard Meech say this time and time again. It's enough money for everybody. We don't have to be going to war. We don't need all this beef. And it's one of the reasons why BMF was able to last so long. Now, we get to the funerals, which we already knew was going to be a whole lot of them. We get to your boy Milton's, RIP to young Milton, man. He did not deserve to go out like that. Glock, you got to go. We ain't forgot about you. But we know Meech was going to pop up and show us respects. And guess what? Remy is still pissed off. He ain't trying to see Meech at all. And from the looks of it, he still wants war. But you can tell Clyde is tired of all of this stuff. He feels like it's not really worth it. And we learn later on in the episode exactly how he really wants to be moving. Now we get to Terry, and we know Terry is at Diesel's funeral. I mean, BMF, they're there showing their respects. But at the same time, we got Detective Bryant and his family. They over there having Kevin's funeral. And I had a feeling that these two will cross each other. And that's exactly what ended up happening. I mean, we see Detective Bryant. He's over there with Gloria. She's all in her feelings. I know she's very sad and hurt. And look at him. Detective Bryant, he is pissed. He is on demon time. He is ready to explode. He's over there with Veronica Jen. And then they see Terry. Detective Bryant, he goes over there and he lets Terry know just how pissed off he really is. He's mad about what happened to Kevin. He's mad that they are even sharing the same soil as far as the BMF member and his son. But Terry, he just wants peace. He don't want no more issues. Detective Bryant ain't trying to hear any of that. He pushes Terry into that grave, had him in there looking stupid. But it goes to show you just what type of mentality that he is on. He don't give a damn no more, y'all. This is a man that feels like he has nothing to lose, and we can tell just by his actions in episode 6. Now, Terry's having a conversation with Meech. He's kind of pissed off that a lot of members are basically upset because of what's going down, all these bodies dropping off. So it's kind of hard to keep people, staying loyal to the organization. But Meech is like, screw all that. We basically the best that they got because ain't nothing else out there that's going to be better for them. Now, Terry tells LaWanda that he wants to end this beef with Henry because he does not want to mess around and end up, dropped off and not be able to be in this kid's life. So that's what he plans to do in this episode. Now, we get to Meech and Miss Watson, and she want that HOA fee. She ain't playing around about that money. They end up giving us like the history lesson of the HOA fees and how it was originally, put in place to separate blacks from whites. And BMF, they do a great job by giving us these history lessons, letting us know how things used to be. Now, we know she's telling Meech, you need to make sure you cut that lawn. And Meech tells her to make sure she washed those sheets. Probably got all types of stains up on them. Now, we get to your boy Raw Dog Charles. Lucille, she is humming his song. He feels like he's in a good place. He feels like he has, the ultimate victory once again over the doctor. And Nicole, she's like, man, so y'all back together? And we know Lucille, she was like, nah, he just saying good morning. Nothing too big or whatever. And we know Nicole, she was on the phone with Breeze. She tried to play it off talking about you got the wrong number. I mean, that's one of the oldest tricks in the book. Lucille already knew what time it was. Now, Charles is asking questions about what's really going on with them because he felt like it was going good. She tells him like, look, she's supposed to be like the assistant pastor at the church and she doesn't really want to have a bad example based on their lifestyle. Charles is like, look, don't let that dim your light. We gonna be good or whatever. And he tells her it's a reason why she chose him over the doctor. So Charles is like, man, I'm about to put this family back together. He's in a good mood. And as of right now, it seems like his game plan is working. Now, Terry, he goes and has a conversation with Henrietta. Basically, he is trying to end the beef. He's like, look, it's too many bodies getting dropped off. It's enough money for everybody. We don't really need to be going to war for real, right? We can see Diz, he's over there. We know him and Terry are cool. He been giving, Terry all types of intel on Henrietta. And they end up noticing how he was looking. At least they mentioned that later on in the episode. Now, Henrietta, she don't give a damn about what Terry's talking about. She wants to continue to have issues and beef with Terry. And she's not going to stop. So Terry has to figure out another way to get her to get off his back. Now, we get to Remy and Clyde. And Clyde, he's upset. He's like, look, we might as well do business with Meech. He got better product. We don't need to be going back and forth, with him as far as a war. But it seems like Remy don't give a damn about that. He wants to continue to go at it with Meech. He ain't letting it go. And the last thing that he wants to do is have an alliance. So now Clyde, he has to sit back and tell Remy, all right, then you can just lead then. But we know Clyde ain't going to go for that. We know Clyde will make a deal with Meech in this episode because it's not really worth it. Having war, having all these, bodies getting dropped off, kids dying and stuff, like it's entirely too much. But after this conversation, I'm pretty sure that Remy's days are definitely numbered. Y'all let me know down below. Now, we get to Detective Bryant and Detective Veronica Jen. And now Detective Bryant, his suspension is over. He's just flat out fired. And he doesn't give a damn about it at all. And then Veronica Jen, she gets suspended. So she's upset. But right before she got suspended, she did give up that intel on Detective Bryant. And of course, Henrietta. I'm looking like, man, I don't know how this story is going to end. But I would not be surprised if Veronica Jen gets dropped off before the end of the season. We gonna see. You know what I'm saying? I know she was upset because she lost her partner. I know in the episode she was having a conversation with her pops. She was all sad and stuff like that. But the way that Detective Bryant is moving, anybody that gets in his way, they just may get dropped off. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen next within this whole storyline. Now, after having a very bad dream of clapping Marquisha's cheeks and she got dropped off, Terry wakes up and he's like, man, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna handle this Henrietta character. And we know that Marquisha tells him, like, look, all you got to do is go over her head and go to Blaze, her pops, because he's the one that's a former cop and he's the one that's really running the organization. So that's going to be Terry's game plan in this episode. Now, we get to Demon Time Bryant. He is pissed off and y'all know he wants revenge. He wants payback on Henrietta. He goes to the spot, knocking cats out, and then it looks like he's going to take her out. But then out of nowhere, her pops, Blaze, he pops up to the party and he helps save the day. And I told you guys I had that funny feeling that Blaze was not going to allow, Detective Bryant to take out his daughter. Even though him and his daughter don't see eye to eye and they have issues, he still loves her. And he's not going to allow Bryant just to do it. Now, we know Henrietta, she wants her dad to take him out. But he is talking about he's going to teach him a lesson. And then we see later on in the episode that they dropped him off in the middle of nowhere. Now, this shows me that Blaze does have a lot of respect for Detective Bryant. At the end of the day, he's a former cop. Detective Bryant, he's a former cop. And he can't allow himself to do this. It's too much heat. We know Detective Emerson, she got dropped off. And it will be entirely too much to do this. But of course, that's going to create issues for him and Henrietta later on in the episode. Now, we get to Meech, Tina, and your boy Duffy. They're out riding, and all of a sudden, Duffy, because he's riding in a separate car, he gets pulled over by the Red Dogs. They end up bringing him in, hemming him up, and it wasn't looking too good. Meech and Tina, they turn around and get the hell up out of there because the Red Dogs, they ain't playing around, and we can tell that something is up and that they're looking for some type of intel. Now we get to Nicole and Lucille. Lucille brings her a packet of birth control. She's like, look, you need to take these because I cannot afford you to slip up. I don't want you to get stuck like me. I want you to have a better life. Nicole, she's kind of upset like, look, you need these more than me. I'm good. Like, I'm not going to be stuck like you and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, Lucille, she is just trying to look out for her daughter. And we can tell by the end of the episode that Nicole, she took this to heart because when she saw LaWanda deliver that baby, she was like, hell nah. I can never be put in that situation, at least not as of right now. Now we get to Terry and Blaze, and Terry goes to Blaze telling him, look, he just wants peace. He feels like they all can get money, no major issues, right? But Henrietta, she's on one. Blaze understands this, right? And he has that respect for his daughter still. But he tells Terry like, look, maybe, I have a conversation with her. I'll see what I can do. He tells Terry he does respect him for coming to him like a man and having a conversation. So it does seem like Marquisha's advice was true about going to Blaze. And we know once Henrietta learns about what her pops wants her to do, she's going to be very, very upset. Now we get to Meech and Angel. We know Meech is very concerned because Duffy has not come home yet. It's been past 48 hours and he feels like something is up. He does not want to risk, something happening. So we know Angel was talking about her going to the club and trying to see what she can get as far as intel and how it would be certain people in the club that may give her, some news about what's really going on, right? But Angel, she put that money in her bra. I mean, we already knew what time it was, man. Your girl Angel's all about that paper. If you paying her money, she gonna do whatever it takes to give you what you want. Now, the HOA lady, she banging on the door talking about you got 30 days to, fix this place up and all that stuff. It's rules here, and she was upset when Angel came outside. Meech had me cracking up. He burned up that piece of paper right in her face, and look at her. I mean, she was looking like, okay, this guy gonna do whatever he wants to do. It's gonna be very difficult to get him to do what I want him to do. I mean, look, all you gotta do is worry about those guys coming over, clapping your cheeks, and washing those nasty sheets. Now, we get to your boy Hoop. He's kind of pissed off that Terry got these new guys in, counting the money and all that. He ain't feeling it or whatever. We know Terry, he's telling him he had to do what he had to do as far as getting some loyal guys in. And we know Terry was having a conversation with Diz. Diz was talking about he's about to open up a new burger joint. We know Terry's going to, use that extra space to move more work. And we know if he gets Blaze Network, that's going to be a lot more people coming in. But unfortunately, Diz, he's not going to be able to see that day because we know by the end of the episode that Henrietta, she's going to drop him off. Now, Meech and Clyde, they're having a conversation and they end up making a deal. We know Remy, he's in the way. He is getting innocent kids like Milton, killed. And that's a bad deal, right? They can't afford to have all that stuff. And we know that they need to neutralize him somehow, some way. Now, he wants to basically end all the beef between the two, have peace. And that's exactly what Clyde agrees on. But they still got to get other people on board to see how everything is going to go. Meech understands if Clyde is feeling like this, if he feels like Remy is doing too much, most likely other Atlanta crews are thinking the same thing. And he wants Clyde to circle back once everybody has all the details. But man, hopefully this game plan can go as planned because, Remy, he's very dangerous. And if he finds out that Clyde is going behind his back, he will try to get, him up out of here. So we're going to see how this whole storyline develops by the end of the season. Now, we get to Henrietta and Blaze is telling her she needs to take the deal with Terry. He is tired of all the issues that she's caused for him and his organization. I mean, he has got high political friends and now it's making it harder for business to, operate with her doing some of the crazy things that she is doing. She does not want to have any type of peace with Terry at all. And we know that Blaze, he tells her, look, why couldn't you just be my daughter? You know what I'm saying? Why couldn't you just be who basically he wanted her to be? But apparently this is who she is. She's rough and tough and she ain't playing around. This ain't the girl that he wanted. He wanted something different. And Henrietta is like, look, this is me. Plain and simple. This is how you gonna get it. Now, when I was going over Henrietta's character a few weeks back, this is the main topic that I was talking about. Her family, her blood family, they do not accept Henrietta for who she is. the people, as far as her soldiers, her crew, they accept her for who she is, right? So this is the major issue that she's going to continue to have. This is why I believe it's going to be a family clash by the end of the season. But we know they end up talking about Diz and how him and Terry was looking at each other. So they know he's up to something and he cannot be trusted. And of course, she stated that Terry is playing with fire. Well, she meant that literally because Diz, he got lit up. Now, Charles is kind of upset that Lucille is going on a date with Dr. Maurice. But he's like, look, just be honest or whatever. I ain't tripping. You need to go out there and realize what you're dealing with. And basically, he wants her to make her choice. Who will she choose when it's all said and done? Well, it seems like Charles is giving her that space in order to make that decision eventually. Now, we get to the Platinum Palace and finally, it ain't no fights. Now, Angel was able to get some intel from the ADA, Brandon Young, and he does let her know about Rodney Grinny Green being brought in. And apparently, he ended up saying that Meech has something to do with taking out that Mike character that we saw in last season. We know Mike got taken out by Goldie and Meech at the end of last season, right? So this intel is very vital because now Meech will understand that it's a lot of heat on his plate and he really has to get the hell up out of Dodge. Now, he lets the crew know that he will be going down to St. Louis to help with operations with Jay Pusha. Of course, they have to be on their P's and Q's because law enforcement, they're not playing around. The GBIs, they're looking for Meech. I mean, it's entirely too much heat. So he does plan to come back, but he wants things to die off a little bit before he makes that move. Now, we know Angel, she wanted to go down to St. Louis with Meech, but he's like, nah, you need to stay here. I'm pretty sure you're going to be good on your own. She tells him, don't be mad if I move on, and that Glock pays well. That's what she heard. Like, really? After all the stuff that Glock has done, dropping off kids, like, really? This is what you're talking about? So Meech tells her, look, you are out of my circle of trust, and basically you got to get the hell up out of here. Now, I want to know what's going to happen with Angel because I still feel like Rodney Grinny Green is not done with her character yet, and she proved to us that she's really just about that money. You guys leave your predictions down below on Angel. Now, we get to the date, Dr. Maurice and Lucille, and they having a good old time. The doctor was pulling out all the stops. Charles, I know he be swinging at the air right now. I know he be pissed off. They're dancing to Alicia Myers, I Want to Thank You. And I believe they put that in there like more of an Easter egg, in my opinion, because that is one of 50 Cent's favorite songs. He actually has like a remix version with that song. Now, after they dance, we know they kissing, having a good old time. We get to Markeisha and Terry. Now, Markeisha was talking about going on a vacation. Everything seemed good. But once Terry said, yeah, we can go on a vacation, but I have to wait until after I have this new child. Once he said that, Markeisha's whole demeanor changed. I mean, she was already pissed off that they did not go to a very nice restaurant. Once they got to the spot, she's up there turning off his pager and phone. I'm looking like, okay, this girl cannot be trusted. She's that petty. She's a flat out lame. And it's crazy because Terry missed the delivery by seconds. I mean, had he got that original page, he probably would have been good. But of course, that did not happen. Now, the doctor, he was there. He helped deliver the baby. And Raw Dog Charles, I mean, look at him, y'all. He's pissed off. He's like, man, I can't do this. How's this doctor up in my house doing what I can't do? And Lucille's right there. She's all smiling. She's very impressed by what the doctor can do. And all this is doing is pissing off Charles even more. Now, once the baby was delivered, Terry walks in and we know that him and LaWanda got into an argument. She's pissed off about where he's been because she understands that he most likely was with Markeisha. And the doctor is telling him just to calm down, son. Charles is like, look, he ain't your son. He was pissed off that he said that. He was more upset that the doctor's in there handling business that, Charles can't do. Now, after seeing all this, Nicole said, you know what? Screw all that. She runs upstairs and she pops one of the birth control pills. One of y'all says she popped that pill like a Molly. She was not playing around. I mean, she's like, look, ain't no way in the hell I'm going through that. At least not as of right now. Now we get to Meech and Clyde. Clyde tells Meech that he is, slowly but surely getting other crews, on board, and he has to tread lightly. He feels like if they tag team, it will go, even faster. Meech tells him that's something that you got to worry about. I'm getting the hell up out of here. You got to be the leader that they're going to follow, right? So y'all know Clyde, he's all in his feelings. He has a lot of pressure on him. Hopefully he does not slip up. Now, We get to the end of the episode. We see Diz. He's out there with the crew. They end up leaving. And then Diz, he sees Henrietta. She has the flamethrower. I don't know what in the hell Diz was thinking, but why even step to somebody with a flamethrower? Guess what happens? He got lit up all the way up. He's up out of here. And that's his fault. I mean, it is what it is. Henrietta, she's already proved that she is down for war and that she's not about to stop at all. And if you're on her bad side, if you're working behind her back, this is what's going to happen to you. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get dropped off. So I want to know how Terry's going to handle this, because as of right now, it ain't looking too good, but at least he went to her pops to try to see if he can work something out. I told you guys, I still believe there's going to be issues with Henrietta and Blaze, and I believe it's going to be a major family clash by the end of the season. The question is, who will walk out victorious? I want you guys to leave your theories down below. Now, I will be dropping the what to expect for episode 7 over the next few days, so I want you guys to stay tuned for that video. Now, I want to thank you guys once again for all the love, all the support, and I will catch y'all on the next one. But let me get up on out of here, man. It's your boy Mark Dark. I'm out. Peace.